Hey, what's up guys? Frost King here. Today I'm going to be showing you guys XBOW Cycle. It's a very strong deck right now. In my opinion, this is the strongest XBOW deck. I've seen other ones at Tournament Standard, and I've tested other ones like this one right here. But I've just found I like this one the most. It has the most consistent defense and the most consistent matchups in my opinion. So I'm going to go over today a lot of things, mostly how to go about matchups. And XBOW is a deck that has there's a lot of small things you need to know, and I want to make sure that if you guys are watching this video, you know those things. So how I go about XBOW when I'm going in against certain matchups is I break it down into two types of decks. There's decks you want to pressure against, and there's decks you want to counter push against. So examples of pressure decks would be decks you have solid enough of a matchup against to break through their defense, while applying consistent pressure. So against Hog, against Mortar, against Log Bait, you want to be making sure that you're keeping up the pressure. And then there's counter push decks where you need counter pushing units or your opponent at low elixir to break through. So also on top of that, a good cycle. By good cycle, I mean if you look at their deck and you're scouting it in the first, let's say, minute of the match, you say, okay, if I drop an XBOW, he's going to defend with this, so I need this card in hand to stop this card, etc., etc. So examples of counter pushing decks would be like Golem, P.E.K.K.A, Hog Mega Knight, Three Musketeers Battle Ram, and Mega Knight Balloon, where you want to make sure you're defending first and then going on a counter push with their win condition out of cycle. So after that, I'm going to show you guys, or tell you guys about how to deal with the 7 XBOW problem cards. I saw Tali, he made a video on it, and he said these were the cards that give XBOW the most problems. These are the 7 cards. So it was P.E.K.K.A, Mega Knight, Minion Horde, Giant, Tesla, Golem, and Rocket. So I'm going to go into one of these replays and just let it run in the background while I go over how to go about these. So against P.E.K.K.A, most of the time it's going to be P.E.K.K.A Minor Poison. So after a Minor Poison push, you're going to want to try and create a small push opposite lane when they're low on elixir. And you're going to do that by most likely starting an Ice Golem in front of your King Tower, and then setting up an XBOW opposite lane. Reason you go opposite lane against Minor Poison is because they will just poison your tower and get eventual chip damage on your tower and whittle it down in HP. Same thing applies if, let's say, you get a good amount of damage on their tower. You have to come to the mindset that they'll win that race. So what I mean by that is, if I'm setting up XBOWs in a Minor Poison player's lane and I get just a little bit of damage, I need to eventually switch lanes, or else they're going to take my tower out before I take out theirs. It's just the truth. You need to switch lanes, because that way it forces them to split up their poison and not get value on your tower. So that's what you have to do there. So yeah, against P.E.K.K.A, you're gonna start that Ice Golem, then you're gonna set that XBOW, and then you're gonna most likely follow it with a Tesla and it's gonna DPS down their P.E.K.K.A, and then the Ice Golem will distract an Ice Spirit that they play or a Bandit that they will play. A lot of times they'll use the P.E.K.K.A to tank the XBOW, and then use the Bandit to take out the Tesla or the XBOW. So that's how you want to go about that. Against Mega Knight, you're gonna want to counter push with your Ice Golem and Mega Minion in cycle. And you're going to want to hold your Ice Spirit for when they play bats. Most Mega Knight decks right now, the most popular ones are going to be Mega Knight Hog and Mega Knight Balloon, which both have bats in the deck. And you want to be cautious about using your Tesla when they have Mega Knight. Only use your Tesla if they're using Mega Knight Minor Poison, because if you use your Tesla when they have Hog or they have Mega Knight Balloon, what's going to happen is they're going to break through with a good push, and you need Tesla a lot in those two matchups against Mega Knight Balloon or Mega Knight Hog. So that's what you want to do against Mega Knight. That's also another matchup where I'm just going to say almost all of these ones are going to be counter pushing. All these win conditions I'm going to tell you guys, these are going to be counter pushing decks where you're going to want to defend and then go on a counter push. The only exception would be P.E.K.K.A when they're low on elixir, like I said, after a Minor Poison push, because I feel confident taking down a P.E.K.K.A. It's very slow. It doesn't have the Golemites after. It's very easy to distract. It doesn't target buildings. So the next card is Giant. So in Giant, you're going to want to be keeping track of their Giant a lot in this matchup, obviously, but Giant is probably, I'd say, XBOW's hardest matchup, because if they start a Giant in the back and they have any distraction unit, After they push with Giant, they're going to have another one back in cycle, and they're going to have enough elixir. The hard part about Giant for XBOW is that it's not like Golem, where they have to be at 8 elixir to play it, and you only need 6 for an XBOW. So if you're making even trades, you can drop your XBOW at 6 and win the trade against Golem. With Giant, they're going to be at 5 elixir before you're at 6 elixir. So only drop your XBOW in very specific situations. Otherwise, you want to defend really effectively in this matchup. So you just want to create that elixir advantage, or else you're not going to break through. And also, you're going to want to make sure that it's out of cycle when you play it. I'm going to go into Graveyard right here for you guys also, and then hopefully halfway through explaining the rest of this, I'll jump into the Graveyard game. But Tesla, that's pretty simple. You're just going to want to keep your Ice Golem in hand and your Mega Minion. Try to use your Mega Minion to distract the Tesla if you're in an XBOW mirror matchup and they don't want to play. So like, let's say you're playing this deck against another person who's playing this deck. Sometimes they're going to want to go for like sneaky Teslas. But make sure you use your Mega Minion instead of your Ice Golem to distract that, because in my opinion, Ice Golem is more important, because if they go for an aggressive XBOW, you're going to need to have your Ice Golem. You're going to need your Ice Golem in hand to block their XBOW and take it down in damage and outlast their XBOW against yours. So that's really crucial. Against Golem, same thing. You're going to focus on defending and counter pushing in double elixir. I usually don't commit to an XBOW in single elixir unless like my opponent pumps at the beginning of a match and I don't have Fireball in hand. That's the only situation I'm going to really be dropping an XBOW in single elixir. Also make sure on that XBOW that you're not overcommitting too much, because if let's say they have a Golem Night Witch push, you're going to want to make sure that you defend that, or else you're going to lose a tower, and the game's basically over at that point in time. Okay, so again, also against Golem, you want to make sure that you're dropping your XBOW at 6 elixir, because if you're dropping your XBOW at 6 elixir and Golem costs 8, you're going to win the trade because they won't have enough for Golem. Take a note that this only applies if they don't have a pump up. And also, just a little bit of instinct would help, because you want to make sure that you feel like you're at least up a little bit in elixir after they've pushed. So if you feel like you over-defended, I wouldn't advise going for that XBOW, but if you feel like you defended efficiently, drop that XBOW at 6. Also, I'm going to go over a couple of starting hand issues, or how to go about starting hand with this deck against Elixir Collector. So that's probably the thing that will confuse the most people. So I asked a friend of mine, named the Kid, and he said, if you drop your XBOW, or if they drop Pump in single elixir and you have Fireball in hand, you're going to always want to Fireball it. If you have your XBOW in hand and your Fireball, you're going to want to Fireball it. And let's say you have your XBOW in hand and then Fireball is your next card, he said you're going to want to cycle to your Fireball and defend. He said the only situation you're dropping XBOW to punish the Pump is when XBOW is your only card in hand. So that's something that I want to note and make sure that you guys know about. That's how you're going to deal with Elixir Collector with this deck. So, Rocket. Against Rocket, you're going to want to outcycle and never defensive XBOW, because if you defensive XBOW against a Rocket deck, they're going to get a free Rocket on your tower, and they're going to be able to get free tower damage. So focus on that matchup of knowing when their Rocket's in hand and try to outcycle it. You do have a 3.1 Elixir cost deck. It cycles pretty fast. So it's something that you're going to want to do. So right here, I'm going to go into and just start explaining. We are 9 minutes into the video. So I'm going to go into this Mega Knight Hog deck, how to go about this matchup. Okay. So we're going to run this at 2 times. So, like I said, in this matchup, I'm wanting to have my Ice Golem and my Mega Minion. So right here, I don't have anything. I do Ice Spear and Mega Minion and split my Archers. The Archers were just something I did. I split them when I was at 10 Elixir. And you'll see I'm going to go, most likely, I'm going to log this. I may just set up an XBOW, but I do have an Ice Golem in cycle. And then Ice Golem Mega Minion, you'll see. And then he's going to play his Inferno Dragon. It's all good. XBOW does get a little bit of chip damage, but nothing I'm too impressed with. I thought the maybe it was an overcommitment, but I needed to kill the Mega Knight. So right here he gets a good hog. It doesn't get any swings, but he does keep the elixir advantage. You want to make sure this isn't a beatdown deck, so make sure that you're playing this very passively and preserving your tower's HP. You don't really want to take a lot of damage. Like I said, you're waiting for the opportune time, so be very patient and just defend effectively. So right here, again, he cycled back to another hog. I'm going to be playing my Tesla. Defending. Right there, you'll see it's a pretty big overcommitment by him. He goes for Hog, Inferno, Dragon, and Poison, so that's when I decide to XBOW. I feel like I can break through right here. I use the log to cycle to the Mega Minion, and then right here, I play the Tesla. It was a bad Tesla, but yeah, I over-defended a little bit. So right here, again, I'm going to play my Mega Minion. I'm going to play Archers in the back, Ice Spirit on it, and then we're going to get a little bit more chip damage. I do have my Tesla and cycle, so I'm okay right here. I play this again, but I do have 2 Teslas helping and then an Ice Spirit, so we finish off that hog. It does get a swing on the tower, so it's getting a little bit sketchy right here. So I'm going to log. I get the Ice Golem down in front. He even zaps. I play that Ice Spirit, and then I'm going to set up another XBOW in just a second. We get some chip damage on the tower. I set that up immediately. I log. I play a Tesla, and then I play an Ice Spirit. And then I just cycle again, and I set up another XBOW. I'm trying to keep up that pressure. I took his hog out of cycle, so I know I'm able to pressure right here. I played the beginning very bad and very aggressively. I thought that hog poison push was a little bit too much, but right here we end up taking the game. So that's something I wanted to show you guys. Was that how to go about Mega Knight Hog. Pretty close matches actually in some of these. Like that last match was close. The Golem match was close. And then the Graveyard match wasn't that close, but the Mega Knight Hog one was. So right here, this is Mega Knight Graveyard with Ice Golem, and we're 12 minutes into the video, so we still have a good amount of time. So he drops a good luck, and like I said before, you're scouting their cycle, knowing what they have in hand. I don't really like dropping an XBOW when they have a Goblin Hut up. I'd rather just drop a defensive XBOW, but right here, you'll see I cycle, and I'm just trying to make really small micro trades at the very beginning. I've recognized that it's Graveyard, so I just defend effectively right here. He does end up in Elixir, but we defend effectively right there. So I go with an aggressive XBOW opposite lane, knowing he just uses Mega Knight, and we get connection on the tower. I split my Archers. Ewiz doesn't get a shot, so we stay up in Elixir right here. Have a good Ice Spirit. The Ice Spirit was necessary because that would have taken the tower lane I was going for down lower, which would have made him switch lanes and got poison value on my tower. So the Ice Spirit was worth it. Opposite lane, I may have ignored that to get an Elixir advantage, but the Ice Spirit was crucial if I'm going same lane. So right here I played that Tesla out of range of the poison. And also what that Tesla will do is it will end up supporting my next XBOW when I drop it. So right here, he has all that stuff. I go for a good Fireball. I put the Ice Golem. He plays a Goblin Hut. I get good log value on it in the middle. And then he just decides to poison it, and we get even more tower damage. So right here, I'll play the Ice Spirit in the back. I'll play the Mega Minion on top. Immediately XBOW. He plays the Mega Knight. I play the early Tesla. I play the Ice Golem, and I know he went aggressive with the Graveyard, and when he goes for the poison, he's not going to have enough to support the XBOW, or defend the XBOW, so I just go for that, and I win the game. I just cycle back right here to another Fireball, and I win the match. So that's how I went about the Graveyard matchup. Whenever he went aggressive, or overspent, I kept up the pressure, but I made sure before I went with an XBOW that I was up in Elixir. So we're going to go into my last match right here. It's against a guy named Witcho on Fire from Mangu. He's a pretty good player. You have 266,000 cards, but he had a pretty interesting Hunter P.E.K.K.A deck. But I think I played this one really well at the very beginning and end, just all the way through the match, because I made really good small trades that made him overspend. So I'm going to show you guys how I go about this. So, okay. At the very beginning right here, I have the Archers. I'm just waiting for him to make a play on my 12th win because I just don't want to cycle anything that can be punished. You know, if I only have Tesla and I cycle my Archers, I could get in a bad situation with him playing an air card. So right here, I see the Archer. I play the Ice Spirit into that Bandit, and I know Ice Spirit plus Mega Minion with one Archer shot will completely stop that Bandit. So I leave it. He goes in with a miner. I just log it. Technically, I made a positive trade on that. But even, I know he did a little bit of damage, but I'm going to go same lane as him for a second. Just keep feeling him out. Feel out what deck he has. I feel like it's P.E.K.K.A at this point in time. So I hold on for a second, and then I fireball that hunter. So after I fireball the hunter, he splits bats. I wait for the hunter to lock on, and I play archers up high. Archers will take out these bats, and then finish off the hunter. And then I play a mega minion, and it won't get any damage on the archers. So I'll have a mega minion and archers counter pushing. He plays an ice spirit into me, goes for a miner on tower. I end up defending that miner with even elixir, and then my mega minion and archers take out his hunter. So right here, I feel like I'm in a good situation to go for an XBOW. I'm up in elixir. So what happens is exactly what I thought was going to happen is I get an XBOW connection. So right here you'll see I don't defend it anymore. I know I was up in elixir and I knew he wasn't going to be able to drop whatever his unit was, his P.E.K.K.A or his Mega Knight, which I knew were the cards he had. So that's what I decided to do right there. I am going same lane in this matchup, you'll notice, which you may think is weird, but I just went same lane because I had counter pushing units in that lane, and he hadn't necessarily chipped down my tower with poisons a lot. I wasn't giving him much poison value. So right here you'll see I play an Ice Spirit, and then I play an Ice Golem. He goes for a Miner. I don't play anything, I believe. I think I just XBOW. I panicked for a second, but yeah, I do XBOW. And then he plays a Hunter. XBOW does lock onto the Hunter, so I'm going to Fireball that Hunter. And then I know I have Ice Spirit, so I'm going to end up playing an Ice Spirit. And then I play Ice Golem. It blocks the bats. And then, yeah, we get a good XBOW connection right here. I put the archers down in front. He plays an Ice Spirit. It does catch the XBOW, but we get a bunch of damage. Right here, I play the Mega Minion on top. And then I know he's low on elixir, so I'm going to be XBOWing at 6 again. I'm willing to do this because he's not going to be able to get that P.E.K.K.A down and get a lot of value out of it. So right here, he's not going to drop his Hunter. I get another XBOW connection. He's trying to cycle back to his Miner. And then he plays it. I got the archers. XBOW starts shooting it. I log it, I take out the bandit, and I take out the miner, and we finish off that tower. So I played it smooth. I waited until I was up in elixir, and I finished up the match. So that's what you gotta do against P.E.K.K.A, guys, is you have to do that. And hopefully I did a good job explaining today. I tried to really make sure that I had a lot of information about XBOW, and I was giving you guys good tips. So right now we're gonna go into the chest opening. I hope you guys enjoy it. So we're going to try and get a log from this one because I need one more log until I have level 4. So we get gold, bats, zap. Obviously none of this stuff really matters because I have all max commons. But we get cannon carts. Okay. We get zappies, so that's pretty good. Flying machine. Hunters. Okay, we have level 4 hunter, so that's really good. This chest has actually gone good. So we got level 4 hunter and we're getting a legendary. So let's see what it is, guys. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we get a bandit. Not that bad. Bandit isn't the worst card. I like it in 3 Musketeer decks. So there we are, guys. There's the chest opening. Here's the deck once again, the XBOW Cycle deck that I've been playing. Make sure to check it out. I hope you guys enjoy the video. I hope you guys enjoy the tips. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.